So Mike originally had quite an interesting design around the headlamps, but I'm going to do something very simple just to get this finished off. And I'll start by doing a quick cheat and just snap this corner of the hood onto the end of the A-pillar so that it's connected and I can build some surfaces from it. And because the fillet surface is still green, it's got construction history, so it will have updated. So I've decided to run a chamfered surface down the side of the hood. So I'll start by building a curve. And I'll need quite a few CVs, so I'll use degree 5 to start with. And then I'll use the left view to roughly get that into shape as an offset of the hood. Now this curve will also be used to build an extension from the side surface, so it'll need continuity. So I can use the Align tool, and it's already set up for G2, so I'll go from that end of the curve onto the surface. And it's already set to vector and normal, and it looks okay, so I'm happy with that. And I could have used blend curves as well, but because I need to play around with these CVs to create the shape, then that's a bit easier with a normal curve. So I always need to check it in the 3D view and adjust the CVs to get a reasonable shape. So if I want to create the chamfered edge, then I can sketch one in with the skin tool. And it's already set to chain select, so I'll go from all of these to the curve. And so that gives me a quick surface that lets me see how the shape might work. And it's not connected down here, but I can leave that for now. Now for my wheel arch, I'm going to be cutting away a large section to allow for the blend. But first I'm going to need an extra bit of surface up here. So I'll need a curve starting at this split here, and I'll just snap it onto the curve at the top. And I don't really know what shape I want it yet. And I'm going to try and create a square surface, so I'll need another curve across here. So I'll just snap a degree 5 from here over to the side surface. And the reason I've chosen degree 5 is because I need continuity on both edges. So I'll use the Align tool again and choose the end of that curve and this surface here. And don't forget, if it's set to UV to start with and it goes along the edge, then you need to switch to vector. And the normal options worked okay here. And then I'll align this end of the curve to the wheel arch surface. And I might not need G2, maybe only G1, but I can experiment later. So I'm going to end up just keeping a small piece of this surface, but I'm just going to create a nice relaxed square surface. So I'll choose the curve, and then this edge is already set to curvature, which is what I want, and then I'll do the other two sides. And if I take a look at that, then it's blending nicely into here because I lined up that curve and that curve. But it's also starting the transition to the wheel arch, which will help when I try to do the blends. So I'll just turn the CVs off, and I now need to cut the space for the wheel arch blend. And I've lost my curve, so I'll just do a curve duplicate from these two edges here. And because I'm on the grid origin, then the new pivot point is in the right place, so I can just scale these. But what I'm going to actually do is set the pivot at the top here so that I can move them to snap exactly on that corner. And I can stretch that out and modify the shape. And I could spend a lot more time on that to get it right. But the important thing is that it's joining at the corner. So now I can project and trim, and I'll project in the view direction. And I'm only going to end up keeping a small part of this new square surface, but the whole shape of it is important as it sets up the direction for the blending surfaces which come next. Now I want to keep on working quickly, so I'll use the freeform blend. And it's set up for position on the first edge, so I'll choose the wheel arch here and this edge here. And then for curvature, I want my new surface and the side surfaces. So if I shade that up and take a look, that looks smooth, and so I'm happy with that. So then over here I've got this gap left to fill. And although my surfaces are split up, I've still got the curve here. So if I'm lucky, I might be able to build a bi-rail from that piece there down to the bumper, and I'll go along the curve and make sure I pick the curve, and then along that edge. So on this edge I want curvature, and that gives me a position failed, but I'm just sketching in the surfaces, so I'll accept that. And that's now looking feasible as an approach to the patch layout. And it lets me complete a first draft of a design that could go into review and form the basis of the next design iteration. And it completes the fundamentals tutorials. So take a look at the project section after this to get some ideas of how to develop and practice your skills.